According to the National Electrical Code, specifically Article 406.3d2, any electrical receptacle installed within 6 feet of the outside edge of a sink or lavatory must be protected by a ground fault circuit interrupter, commonly known as a GFCI. This regulation is in place to enhance electrical safety and minimize the risk of electrical shock, especially in environments where water is present. The 6-foot distance is measured as the shortest path the electricity would take from the sink. This requirement is comprehensive and applies to all receptacles, irrespective of their location on the wall or their intended purpose. The primary function of a GFCI is to detect any imbalance in the electrical current flowing through the circuit. In a standard electrical circuit, the current flowing to an appliance or device should be equal to the current returning. However, if a fault occurs, such as a person touching a live wire while in contact with a grounded surface, a portion of the current may take an unintended path to ground. This is where a GFCI steps in. It constantly monitors the current balance, and if it detects a difference of as little as 5 milliamps, it will quickly trip the circuit, cutting off the power supply within a fraction of a second. This rapid response time is crucial in preventing serious injury or even death from electric shock. The installation of GFCIs is particularly important in areas where water is likely to be present. Water is an excellent conductor of electricity, so the presence of water significantly increases the risk of electric shock. This is why the NEC mandates GFCI protection near sinks, as well as in bathrooms, kitchens, laundry rooms, and outdoor locations. A slop sink, while potentially used for different purposes than a typical bathroom or kitchen sink, still presents the same risk of water exposure. Therefore, the NEC GFCI requirement applies equally to receptacles located near slop sinks. When installing a GFCI receptacle, it's essential to follow all manufacturer instructions and local electrical codes. The installation process typically involves connecting the incoming power wires, the outgoing load wires, and the ground wire to the appropriate terminals on the GFCI receptacle. It's also crucial to test the GFCI after installation to ensure that it is functioning correctly. Most GFCI receptacles have a test button that simulates a ground fault condition. Pressing this button should cause the GFCI to trip, cutting off the power to the receptacle. If the GFCI does not trip when the test button is pressed, it should be replaced immediately. Furthermore, it is recommended to periodically test GFCIs to ensure that they remain in good working order. The NEC also addresses the types of receptacles that require GFCI protection. This includes standard 15 amp and 20 amp 120 volts receptacles. It also covers receptacles that are part of a cord and plug connected appliance such as a portable tool or appliance. The code also clarifies that the GFCI protection can be provided by a GFCI receptacle or a GFCI circuit breaker. A GFCI receptacle is installed at the point of use, while a GFCI circuit breaker provides protection for the entire circuit. In some cases, it may be more practical to use a GFCI circuit breaker, especially if there are multiple receptacles in the area that require GFCI protection. It's important to note that GFCI protection is not a substitute for proper grounding. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip the circuit breaker and prevent a dangerous build-up of voltage. GFCI protection supplements grounding by providing an additional layer of protection against electric shock. In addition to the specific requirement for receptacles near sinks, the NEC also mandates GFCI protection in other areas where water is present, such as bathrooms, kitchens, laundry rooms, and outdoor locations. The specific requirements for each of these areas may vary, so it's important to consult the NEC for detailed information. For example, in bathrooms, all receptacles must be GFCI protected, regardless of their proximity to a sink. In kitchens, receptacles that serve countertop surfaces must be GFCI protected. In laundry rooms, all receptacles within 6 feet of the laundry tub must be GFCI protected. And in outdoor locations, all 125 volts, 15 amp and 20 amp receptacles that are readily accessible must be GFCI protected. Furthermore, The NEC requires that GFCI protection be provided for certain types of equipment, such as swimming pool equipment, hot tubs, and spas. The requirements for these types of equipment are very specific and must be followed carefully to ensure safety. It is important to understand that the NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that addresses a wide range of electrical safety issues. It is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest advances in technology and to address any emerging safety concerns. It is essential for anyone involved in electrical work to be familiar with the NEC and to follow its requirements carefully. The NEC is not a law, but it is widely adopted by state and local governments as the basis for their electrical codes. Therefore, compliance with the NEC is often a legal requirement. In addition to the NEC, there may be other applicable codes and standards that must be followed. For example, the International Building Code (IBC) contains requirements for the installation of electrical systems in buildings, and the National Fire Protection Association (NFPA) publishes a number of standards related to electrical safety, such as NFPA 70E, Standard for Electrical Safety in the Workplace. It is important to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer to ensure that all applicable codes and standards are being followed. When working with electricity, safety should always be the top priority. Electricity is a powerful force that can cause serious injury or death if not handled properly. It is essential to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others from electric shock. This includes wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, such as rubber gloves and insulated tools, and following all safety procedures. Never work on electrical equipment while it is energized. Always disconnect the power supply before starting any work. And if you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. In summary, Article 406.3d2 of the National Electrical Code mandates GFCI protection for all electrical receptacles located within 6 feet of the outside edge of a sink or lavatory. This requirement is in place to enhance electrical safety and minimize the risk of electric shock, especially in areas where water is present. It applies to all receptacles, regardless of their location or intended use. The GFCI constantly monitors the current balance, and if it detects a difference of as little as 5 milliamps, it will quickly trip the circuit, cutting off the power supply within a fraction of a second. This rapid response time is crucial in preventing serious injury or even death from electric shock. The installation of GFCIs is particularly important in areas where water is likely to be present, such as bathrooms, kitchens, laundry rooms, and outdoor locations. When installing a GFCI receptacle, it's essential to follow all manufacturer instructions and local electrical codes. It's also crucial to test the GFCI after installation to ensure that it is functioning correctly. The GFCI protection can be provided by a GFCI receptacle or a GFCI circuit breaker. It's important to note that GFCI protection is not a substitute for proper grounding. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip the circuit breaker and prevent a dangerous buildup of voltage. GFCI protection supplements grounding by providing an additional layer of protection against electric shock. It is essential for anyone involved in electrical work to be familiar with the NEC and to follow its requirements carefully. Compliance with the NEC is often a legal requirement. When working with electricity, safety should always be the top priority. Firstly, understand the purpose of GFCI protection, that is, to protect people. Secondly, the National Electrical Code, specifically Article 406.3d2, clearly states that receptacles within 6 feet of sinks require GFCI protection. Thirdly, slop sinks fall under this rule, despite their usage. Fourthly, ensure correct GFCI installation and regular testing to maintain optimal safety. Fifthly, always prioritize safety when working with electricity and consult the latest NEC guidelines for compliance.